Well, first I'd just like to place a motion on the table to get this kicked off. And the motion is that a straw poll shall be held in August 2015, sponsored by the Republican Party of Iowa. The chairman shall appoint a committee to work out the details and report back to this body on or before the next state central committee meeting.
Is there a second to that? All right, second by Cheryl Wiseman. Now, can we repeat that?
Sure.
Repeat that again for everybody.
I'm not too sure what
Ryan,
I'll repeat it so that I can.
That's okay, we want to get this one right.
You bet. A straw poll shall be held in August 2015, sponsored by the, my goodness.
It's a good song.
It is a great one. Okay. A straw poll shall be held in August of 2015, sponsored by the Republican Party of Iowa. The chairman shall appoint a committee to work out the details and report back to this body on or before the next state central committee meeting.
Okay. So that's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Mrs. Davidson.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to report that in the 2nd District, before Christmas, I sent an email to all of our 46 county chairs and co-chairs asking them 3 questions. Do you think we should have a straw poll in 2015? Why or why not? Should it include a vote? If we do not have an event called the straw poll, should there be some sort of other event? I did receive a few email responses, so I decided to call all the rest of the county chairs and co-chairs. I have made calls to every county chair and co-chair in the 2nd District, and it has been an overwhelming majority that the chairs and the co-chairs in the 2nd District do want to have a straw poll with a vote conducted.
Okay, that's good information from that district. Other discussion, conversation. Steve Sheffler.
I likewise have gotten into it, and I haven't really had a single individual that is opposed to the straw poll. And I guess as a veteran of working on 3 different campaigns, the straw poll years ago, I am a big believer because it gives all candidates, including candidates that don't have a big name or a lot of money, to get out their message. And especially with a compacted schedule this year that the RNC has put together, if we don't have a straw poll, only those candidates with the most money and the most name ID are going to have any chance to go forward. So I think it's a very good process, and it's a first good look at how, or what I always think about. And then last of all, when a candidate is forced to basically get their act together, an organization together, once they get to that straw poll and it's done, and between that time and the caucuses, then they kind of know what they need to do to kind of strengthen their weak points in their organization. So I think it's a very good process. And again, as a person that represents Iowa Republicans, I think it's something we need to do because it is a good thing for our party.
More discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
Trudy.
One thing, and I know we've talked about the candidates, but the one thing I think that is so valuable for the straw poll is that it brings Iowans into a political arena. Many times there will be young people that say, I went to the first straw poll and I really now am excited about this. And you know, to move our country forward, we have got to have more informed and active, both young people and old people. So I think the straw poll helps us do that. We have a lot of active people in Iowa, but I think this helps start some careers.
Laura Schulte.
I would certainly concur with everything that's been said so far. As someone who has run a couple of presidential caucus campaigns in Iowa, it is indeed an opportunity for candidates that are lesser known, with not nearly the financing that some candidates would have, to really have an impact. And it's not an impact just here in Iowa. I think this is a service for the rest of the country. This is really kind of the kickoff to the national election, if you will. And that it serves the purpose of being able, these candidates to be able to get their message out, to get known. And I don't think that can be minimized. You know, Iowa doesn't tell the country who will be the next president of the United States, but quite often it has served the purpose of saying who probably won't be the next president of the United States. I would also make the point that, you know, the numbers of individuals that say that, you know, if we don't have this process, that truly begins to winnow the herd, if you will, for better or for worse. It has served that purpose. I hate to come into caucus night in February of 2016 and have 24 candidates still in the race. We didn't do much for the rest of the country on that night, if that's the case. So I cannot say in any stronger words the absolute support I have for this.
Further discussion, Tamara Scott?
Chairman, thank you for the discussion. There's one thing that has come out of this. Simply having the discussion, I think, has re-energized the interest and the enthusiasm in this well-loved position for the Republican Party. Not just amongst the voters of the Republican Party, but look in this room, amongst the media, amongst people you meet and you talk to. It has engaged, once again, the people in the process. And as Laura said, we need to have a winnowing process by the caucus, but an educational process. And this does start the discussion and allow us to have that discussion amongst our 99 counties long before the caucus. If there's one thing I would like you to expound upon just ever so slightly, and you traveled to DC, I think you learned some information that might benefit us. We had questions as far as the poll being official or being acceptable, and is there possibility of a debate with it like we had in past years?
You can, on target, and I'll get back to you, Cheryl, because I know you're up next. In your packets, you should have the memo that was addressed to me. This is what you heard us talking about throughout all of this. It was a long process. There was a lot of thought that went into this particular document. When I was in Washington, D.C., I actually talked to I guess he would be kind of like John Ryder's assistant, and then I also talked to Reince Priebus. And the bottom line of this, when you melt it all down, is having this straw poll does not go against and put us in jeopardy of any of the rules that have been passed in the recent past. And so I guess in some ways, in fact, I noticed even a couple articles frame that as a green light. There was a list, and I think it would behoove us, because they did take some time to go through this. There was a list of I think you could say, of concerns. And for most of us, I think, as you look through there, it's in some ways stating the obvious. In some ways, I think what we were doing in some ways we were educating and reminding our fellow Republicans across the country exactly what the straw poll is and what it is not. And I don't think there was ever meant to be anything demeaning. There was never intended for this to be the national party looking over our shoulder. I think this was taken with a great deal of care. I think it was, this is going to sound odd, but I actually want to publicly say that I appreciate the work that went into this. I appreciate the work that Reince Priebus put into this personally. And I think the document that we have here is a good statement of where the national party is at this time. And in terms of your vote today, hopefully it's alleviated some of the concerns that have been brought up in terms of what a straw poll might do to our First Nation status. And the short answer to that is nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for going to DC for service.
Thanks. Steve. Oh, I've got to get Cheryl and Steve, and then
I wanted to say I'm in agreement with what was said here, especially what Trudy said about energizing the Republican Party. I never thought that 36 years ago, sitting in a living room in Ames, Iowa, as a co-chair of the Story County Republicans, when we decided to call this the Cavalcade of Stars and kick this whole thing off, that we'd ever be in a situation like this where I would, 36 years later, be able to sit here and say how much I am in support of the straw poll in the way that we have done it in the past. I do believe that we should have it that energizes people. It brings Iowans in, and everyone's eligible to compete, and everyone can compete. And I think we need to retain it and maintain it from here on out.
And Steve?
And I, like Jeff, appreciate John Ryder's work and Ryan Streetus's work on this. But I can tell you, as a member of the Rules Committee, I've sat on that committee, and I think I've always paid attention, been awake, and been very deliberative in the process. Never, ever, ever did we have a discussion at any point in time about preventing state parties and or county parties from having a straw poll. That discussion never, ever came up.
Any other discussion before we vote? All right, do we want to have a motion if we want to have a roll call vote, if there's no motions?
So moved.
Okay, move for a roll call vote, is there a second? Second by Nystrom. I believe we have to vote on that, on a roll call. All in favor say aye for a roll call vote.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, if the secretary would, call, that's how we, maybe that's not, secretary calls off
I don't have a
the,
list.
okay. We can go. No, we don't have to necessarily. Yeah, just go ahead and start with yourself, Brian, and go ahead and call out the names and
All right.
everybody vote aye or nay.
I vote aye. Brenna?
Aye.
Trudy?
Aye.
Sorry, I'm trying to read as fast as I can.
It's okay.
Bill?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Tamara?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Lawrence?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And Bob?
Aye.
Any ayes, is that right?
Mr. Chairman, the ayes are 16, the noes are 0.
You've heard the vote count at 16 ayes and 0 nays. The motion passes. The Iowa straw poll lives.